6th of November. Yesterday was the 5th, with all the, we didn't actually have that many fireworks, but there were some fireworks, enough fireworks that my cat spent most of the evening sat on my lap trying to hide or be safe from the loud banging noises that were happening outside. But yes, a little off track. Back on track. It is Saturday morning. It's just a little bit past 9, and October is over. It's over. It's November. But I thought, I've got the energy. I fancy doing something a little bit different than what I've been doing my whole week, which is working on lesson plans and figuring out what I'm going to do with my new classes. And I just film a little update. I've also set myself the challenge this weekend of getting through as much of the shawlography border as I can. So I thought that might be something interesting to kind of keep up with. Let's see how I can get through that. If you are a new person watching, hello, my name is Jessica. I run this YouTube channel which is tentatively named Tiny Needles Knits, or Tiny Needles Vlogs, or Tiny Needles Knits Podcast. I'm just playing around with it at the moment. I feel like picking a name for something is quite hard, so, but that's what I am at the moment. But my name is Jessica and I'm doing knitting and other sort of content. And yeah, today I thought I'd do a little vlog of my day, what I get up to. I have quite a few things to get on with this weekend, but I was like really struggling to kind of get a sort of plan or figure out how to do it. So I'm trying a new like to-do list structure at the moment, where I've put everything in 4 quadrants. So we've got work, household, well-being, which is like go for a run, do yoga, make soup for myself for next week, and fun. And you can't really see because it's being blown out a little bit, but in the fun section there's the shawlography repeats, and I have already checked off one of them, because I had, last night I looked to see how many repeats of the 5 colours I had, and I had 5 and a bit, which I don't know if that's what you're supposed to have. You know, like I said last time, I made a little mistake at the beginning, so I don't know if my like numbers are slightly off, which is fine, but it just means that I've got 5 repeats of each of 5 colours, and then 1 that'll just be 3 colours, but like, it's fine. That's fine, and it's just behind me. I was just laying out and looking at it. But so I have done, I'm now over halfway through the border, so I've done this whole section through past the first wedge. That was a real milestone. And now I'm kind of almost at the second wedge, which is another very exciting milestone. But I last night went from, I think I was on the yellow, so I did from the yellow to this blue. So I did kind of finished a repeat and then did a whole repeat and then started another repeat, because my repeats begin with the blue and end with the white. So I've just started another one, and I've got 4 and a bit to go. So I'm not 100% that that's going to be finished by the end of the weekend, but it's a goal. It's something to look for, and it's nice to have a kind of fun knitting goal alongside my work goals and household chore goals and exercise goals and that sort of thing. So yeah, that I think I'm just going to vlog for today rather than vlogging for the whole weekend, but we'll see. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I guess you'll know, because you'll know how long this video is and you'll know when you get to the end, so we'll all find out together. But yeah, right now it's just 9:15 and I'm going to go on a little walk into town to do some errands and a bit of shopping. I woke up with a real urge to make cornbread, so I'm going to make cornbread and chilli obviously to go with the cornbread, which will be good, and also will be like a big pot of stuff that will give me like food to eat for the rest of the week, which is one of my well-being weekend goals. So it's all coming together. yeah, there's this little like Mexican shop in Stockbridge, which is like the kind of part of Edinburgh that is closest to me, or like quite close to me, where I like to kind of go and do weekend shopping and stuff. And there's this little Mexican shop where they have like jewellery and pottery and also a little food section, so I'm going to go there to see if there's anything that could like make my chili and cornbread like a little bit more exciting. They've got like a few like tinned foods and stuff. This is a new tea. It's a Pukka tea. It's called Revitalize, and it's got like cinnamon. It's like kind of chai-esque, but not as heavy, like a light chai. So if you are interested in that sort of tea, this is a new one and I like it. Quite picky when it comes to tea, so this is a new fave, or a new good one in the rotation. Yes. Also, something that I wanted to do this weekend was to pick a new audiobook to start listening to. I have a Scribd, I think it's called Scribd, subscription, which gives you like unlimited audiobooks and stuff like that, which is really good. I really like it, and I was listening to loads of audiobooks when I first got it, but since I've started this new job working at this school, I have just been like listening to kind of whatever is just on my Spotify in the morning, because I'm not really thinking about what I want to be listening to, and I want to use and also something that I was feeling was that I was sad that I wasn't reading as much as I have been before, and I thought my goals of wanting to use that time, it's like a 40-minute drive there and a 40-minute drive back, so it's quite a lot of time, and I think I just wanted to use that time more intentionally, rather than just like listening to whatever like podcast was on, or like whatever CD or that sort of thing, and also wanting to read more. I'm feeling sad that I'm not reading as much, so one of the things that I want to do this weekend was pick an audiobook to begin listening to, and I have picked one, and I'm going to show you the cover. It's Ramona Blue, and it's by Julie Murphy, who also wrote Dumplin', which is a really great Netflix film which has a lot of like Dolly Parton music in, so it's very fun. So this is like a YA book, very light, very queer, lots of fun, so I thought that would be a good one. So I'm starting listening to that on my little walk, and yeah, I'm gonna go and do my errands, then I'm gonna come back and do some other stuff. Who knows? Some stuff from my list. Yeah, okay. It is much later. What's the time? It is just 3:10, and I've been working on some lesson plans and some like presentations for the next week. But I was just taking a little break to make a hot chocolate, which is in the microwave, and to do a little bit more work on my shawl. Rewind a bit. I went to the shops, bought lots of veg, very exciting. Went to a greengrocer's in Stockbridge, and got like loads of plastic-free veg for like £15, which was really nice. I could spread, and I'm excited to cook with that. And I also went to a children's bookshop in Stockbridge and bought a few books. These two are, I was going to say YA, but I think they're both middle grade. Oh, I just heard the microwave ping for my hot chocolate. I think they're both middle grade books about neurodivergence in childhood, and kind of, I think it's both are about girls with autism, which is interesting and is something that has not been written about loads, so I'm excited to read these and see if there's something that I could maybe use with a class in the future. And then I also got this, which is a graphic novel of The Babysitters Club, which I've been really enjoying watching on Netflix, and I read some of the books like as a kid. I remember getting them out of the library, or at least like looking at them in the library, but I don't know if I ever read the first one, and this just looked like a fun read. I was talking earlier about wanting to read more at the moment, and I think graphic novels is a really good way, and children's graphic novels is an even better way. So yeah, that's a little mini book haul. The two books about neurodivergence is, this one's called A Kind of Spark by L. McNichol, and I think that there is a second book either in this series or just by the same author that has come out recently, and this one is called Ways to Be Me, which I picked up because it was in the like sale bin, but it's actually a prequel to another book called Can You See Me, which is by the same authors, Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott. So I guess it's always a tricky with prequels because it was written second, but it happens first. So I'm reading it first because it was in the sale bin. So that was my little mini book haul. And I also bought these earrings, which you probably can't see very well, but they're little suns, and I got them from the little Mexican shop in Stockbridge. And I also got some like sleeper hoops from there, which would, just because I have some other hoops but they're kind of making my ears hurt, so I wanted to get a slightly higher quality hoop, and then I just got these because I really liked them. But I didn't actually end up buying any food from the Mexican shop. They had a lot of like chili sauces and like spicy sauces, which is not really my thing. And the only salsa that they had looked, did I say I was going in there for salsa? I didn't really know what I was looking for, to be honest, but nothing in there really jumped out at me, so I got all of my ingredients from other shops. But speaking of ingredients, I'm gonna go investigate my hot chocolate and I'll be back. I am back with an incredibly decked out hot chocolate. I bought some, in the UK we call it squirty cream, but I feel like there should be a better name for it. Some canned cream, spray cream, from Lidl the other day, just on a whim, just fancied a bit of squirty cream, and I've had it on ice cream, and now I'm having it on a hot chocolate, and I also had some marshmallows in the cupboard, so a very exciting time, but it's slightly too hot to drink, so I'm going to put it down and talk briefly about my shawlography before I get to my hot chocolate break. I'm literally in the middle of a tiny row, so I'm just going to knit to the end of that tiny row while I talk about it. I have done one more repeat since this morning, so I now only have 3 repeats and a bit left to go, and I have to say that at this point the fun has gone. And now I know, as with gambling, as with knitting, when the fun stops, stop. But I really want to finish this. I want it to be done, I want it to be behind me, and that is fun. That element is fun. I am ready for this to be finished. I am ready to have the needles because I want to start my 7th Street shawl. And yeah, I think if I stop now, I'm not going to want to pick it back up. So I am persevering, I'm powering through, I am using this time to get through the shawl. What I keep thinking about it is that it feels like knitting a really, really long, thin scarf. Like, I don't know about any of you, but when I first started knitting, as like, I was like 8 or 9 or something, around that sort of age, you know, would make these like really long, very like thin scarves because you didn't quite know how many stitches made a scarf, and it was satisfying having shorter rows, but then actually thin scarves are like no fun to wear. Although I guess they were slightly fashionable in the early 2000s, which was when I started knitting, so maybe I was fashionable before my time. Fashionable in my time? But anyway, it feels like that, and I think it's like a comparable amount of knitting, like the row is similar, so it just feels like I've been knitting this like never-ending, like really long scarf, like pointless scarf. I do really like how it looks, and I'm glad I didn't just do the I-cord bind off, partially because I would hate to do such an long I-cord bind off, and I do really like how this is binding off as you go. But it is so long, so long. I think that this part is maybe my favourite bit of the whole shawl. I think the green and the blue triangle, then with the brioche on top, I think that's my favourite element. I like the shape, I like the way that the two colours go together, and I really liked that part on other people's. When I've seen like pictures of other people's, I'm really enjoying how their colours are going together in this bit often. I think it's, so I like that it's the bit, how to describe this, you change the colour when usually it would be like wrong to change colour, because you end up with the kind of pearl bump having the two colours in it, which I think usually is like avoided in knitting patterns. But I really like the way that it looks and how it's a little bit kind of like, ooh, it's all like blended together. And I'm thinking about incorporating some element of that design into a sweater that I've casted on that I haven't talked to you guys about recently, that has a like garter rib, where it's like rib, garter stitch pattern, and about kind of incorporating maybe this type of mistake colour change into that to get a bit of like variety, because I'm doing stripes and at the moment they're very clean, and I'm wanting to like get the stripes to be kind of bigger as it goes down, or thicker I guess, and maybe I'll add in that. I'm not going to show you that jumper because I don't want to get it out of its bag. Maybe I'll show it later in the video, but I don't want to get into it because I feel like there's a lot to say about that, and I just wanted to give a little brief update on the shawlography, and then I wanted to get back to my hot chocolate. But the update on the shawlography is it's happening. I'm ready for it to be done. I'm hoping this will be the last video with it in, and I like it, but it's like knitting a very long, boring scarf at the moment. So we're in a bit of a rough patch together, but I'll be glad to be done. And I've enjoyed the whole process so much. I wonder if part of this, like, not enjoying it towards the end is because there's not that, like, the next Friday clue, 'cause coming out feeling, which was, I think, largely the fun of it. So, yes. I'm going to keep going on that. I'm going to keep going on my lesson plans and my presentations, and I'll catch up with you post hot chocolate, or later than that. Hello, happy Sunday, and good morning from me in my running yoga active gear. I had got up, got dressed, got ready to start the day. I was just feeling a bit crummy, a bit out of sorts. I woke up really early today, at like 5:45, just because of my brain. Just my brain woke me up. I've been getting up at 6:30 every day for going to work, but not this early. But I think on the weekends my brain is having a hard time switching off from knowing that I have to wake up at that time. So it means that I've been waking up like around 6:30 most weekends since I've started working at the school. But this morning was super early, so I decided, I planned to go for a run later today, but I thought, you know what, it looks nice out, I want to get out, I gotta get this run done anyway, because it's my day to run. I'm doing the Couch to 5K program. Today will be my last day of week 3. I'm now running for 3-minute stretches. Instead of, I started out with 60-second stretches and now I'm running for 3-minute stretches, and a little bit more because sometimes I run a little further than the program tells me to because I fancy it. But yes, I've decided I'm just going to go for my run and just, you know, if I need to come back and take a second shower, even though I just took one an hour ago, that's fine. We'll see how it goes. But this morning I kind of tossed and turned in bed for a while and tried to go back to sleep, but then I was like, that is not happening. So I got up and I made myself some tea and I fed the cat and sorted all that out and dealt with a little litter tray accident, which was a lovely way to start the day. And then I thought I'd watch a little like film, do a little like cozy morning, lit some candles, and I watched Falling for Figaro, I think it's called. It's a new film on Netflix about like opera singing and the Scottish Highlands. It's like classic rom-com-y, very like yeah, stereotypical presentation of Scotland, etc, etc. It was good, I enjoyed it. It was like a nice bit of fluff. It fell flat a little bit for me at the end, but the journey, I enjoyed the journey. I like the journey. And also, interestingly, because yesterday I was talking about, what was it called? Yesterday I was talking about Dumpling, and the actress who was the main character in this film also played the main character in Dumpling, so a nice little bit of continuity throughout my days. But while I was watching it, I was working on my border and I am so close to being finished. I'm so close to being finished. I'm really glad that I set myself this little challenge because I think it really has turned my brain on and just, you know, it's working, which is not always the way. Sometimes you set yourself a challenge and it doesn't happen, but this one is happening. Look at that! Look at that! I've only got this much left to go. I think I said before that I had counted and I knew that I didn't have enough for full repeats all the way to the end of the 5 colours. And I was thinking about doing something like funky where for the last 2 on this like last cross I did it half yellow, half white, and then for the last cross on this one I did half yellow, half white to like get those full repeats in. But I just thought I'd like check Stephen's video before I did that to see if it's intentional that you just have the 3 at the end, and I looked and he has the same, so his last 3 ones are his first 3 that he started with, so he doesn't have full 5 repeats. So I'm just gonna follow the pattern and I'm gonna end on, so I'll have a yellow, a white, a blue, a green and an orange, and then I will finish. So basically I'm on my last 5, even though I've not finished the 5th repeat, but I'm just starting and I've got 5 more to go. So I think I'm going to finish today, which is pretty exciting, and it means I can cast on my new project, so that is really fun. Yeah, that's basically all I've been up to this morning. It is a nice day. It's not, you know, the most, it's a bit kind of cloudy, but it looks very crisp autumn day. So I'm gonna go out, have my little run. I'm gonna listen to probably my audiobook, maybe a podcast. This is maybe a controversial thing about running, but I like listening to words while I run rather than music. I find that the music makes me think more about that I'm running, whereas listening to words makes me forget that I'm running, which helps me run more. Thoughts? Let me know. But yeah, I'll catch back with you later, probably when my border is finished, which will be very exciting. Catch you then. I also wanted to show briefly my latest running purchase. It's a bum bag. It's from Patagonia. And I love it. It's just the right size. It has a little pocket that fits my phone and a pair of gloves if I wanted them, and then a little front pocket that I've got keys and a little mask in case I want to like stop in a shop on the way back, or if I just need to use something that requires a mask. So this is my new running purchase. Very exciting times. I've just knit the very last stripe. The very last stripe has been knit. I'm barely in the frame. I just now need to do the I-cord bind off with it, and then I'm done. I'm finished! Only 7 days after the end of October, so it's been my October shawl. I never would have thought I'd been able to do this much knitting in 1 month. Like, I don't even want to know the amount of stitches that is in this thing, but I'm going to be pleased to be finished. I've also, in the time that I've not been filming, finished a lot of household chores. I finished some lesson plans, very exciting, lesson presentations. So it's just all, it's all happening. It's been a bit of a weird Sunday. I feel like Saturday I got a lot done, got a lot of rest in, had a good time. Sunday's been a bit bitty, just trying to finish off some last things, but really glad to be finished with this. I'm watching some old Vlogmas videos to kind of get myself in the holiday spirit. I feel like it's only November 7th, but I definitely need that holiday lift already. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm almost finished, and then I'm going to make some cornbread for dinner, and hopefully I'll be able to block this. I've been doing the like weave in Stevens as I go, so I think I'm just going to trim the ends. I maybe should do something to secure them more, but there's so many of them. I might just trim them all and just hope for the best. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to block it, and my hope is to get it. I don't have a blocking mat, but I'm just going to lay it out on my yoga mat before dinner. That's the hope. So let's get this finished. wet blocking in the kitchen sink. I did it quite a cool temperature because I know a thing with MKAL's past is that people have had issues with colour run onto their lighter colours, and while I have no reason to believe that that's going to happen, I am abiding by the superstition and keeping it really, really cool temperature so that my cream doesn't end up any of the other colours. But I thought I'd just do a little wrap up of the vlog now because I have basically finished editing it and I just wanted to add a little bit on the end and upload it before I start my working week and don't have time. So I thought I would do a little wrap up of the project, not so much offering, you know, how I feel about it or think about it, because you can go back to future videos to see how I felt about it along the way. But I thought I'd do something which I haven't ever done before, which is do a little like weigh-in of how much yarn I've got left at the end, because it looks like a lot, and because I also want to talk about like what possible projects or plans I might do with the yarn that I have left over. So I've written down them in my A, B, C, D, E colour order so that maybe it will be similar for you and we can learn from each other about how much is left and what we might do with it. Before I start, I just want to note that most of my yarns are Cascade fingering weight. I can't remember what it's called, my apologies, but it's just the Cascade kind of fingering weight, but one is not, and it is, okay, so it's Cascade Heritage. I just found my little ball band for most of them for their fingering weight, and the other one, my kind of oatmeal creamy colour, is Cloudborne Fibres Highland Superwash Sock Twist, and I've actually really enjoyed it. It was like quite cheap, so I didn't know what to expect, but I like it, and I think I would definitely, I'm interested to knit maybe a whole pair of socks with it because it's so cheap and it's quite soft and sheepy and it's got like a really fun texture, so I'd be interested to maybe buy that in another kind of like natural colour in the future. But I'm getting sidetracked. I just wanted to explain what brand my yarns were, and that you'll see why, because there's a real discrepancy in what is left over from my Cascade ones and what is left over from this one, and I don't know if it's just because it was my colour B or if it's because I think the yardage was less to begin with. It was only, what was the yardage? It was 178 yards for 50 grams, whereas the Cascade was 437 yards for 100 grams. So you're looking at quite a hefty difference. Almost, yeah, probably about 100 yard difference between 100 grams of one and 100 grams of the other. So that's probably why, rather than just because it's my colour B. Anyway, I start with my A, which was my orange. This was the colour that I started with, was my A, and I have 38, can't read my own handwriting, 38 grams left. Oh, that's my timer for that I have to do something with my cornbread, so I will be back. That is all sorted now. I can't remember quite where I got to. Orange. I have 38 grams left, so that's enough for something, maybe. I'm like trying to do the mental math in my head, because what I think I would like to try and do is do some socks, do a sock pair, but I'm not quite sure, do some sort of like colourwork sock with it, but I don't know what to pair with what. I think there's two that are slightly more and two that are slightly less, and then the white there's barely any, so maybe I'll pair a bigger one with a small one. But let's keep going down the list and then we can do the mental maths for who's gonna go with who. But this is my cream. There's not that much left. There's 13 grams left, so enough for a little accent maybe. I think I'd like a kind of MKAL tribute pair of socks. So if I could get every colour in, that would be really fun. So there's definitely enough to do something in a sock with this. Then C was my yellow, and that's what I have the most left, and you can really tell it feels like a lot chunkier than the rest, and this is 45 grams, so almost half a skein still remaining of my colour C. Colour D was this green, and I've got 39 grams, so a similar amount to my colour A, just a little bit more. And my colour E is this blue, and I have 44 grams, so 1 gram less than my colour yellow. So if I wanted to make up pairs that were equal to each other, I could use this blue with the green. Trying to do my mental maths in my head right now. Yeah, blue with green is 39 plus 44, and then, no, that's incorrect. It would be the blue with the orange. I'm going to use my little calculator and I'm going to get back to you. There we go, I've done the maths. I can get 2 pairings of 83 grams, which would be my orange, which is 38, plus my yellow, which is 45. So these two together would be 83 grams, which should be enough for a pair of socks. And this, my blue, which is 44 grams, and my green, which is 39, together also make 83 grams, so they could be a pair of socks by themselves. Or I could put them all together, or I could just, you know, throw caution to the wind and do this as a pair and this as a pair, which actually I kind of like these colour pairings better, but the most efficient way to do it, to use up all the yarn, would be, and although I guess I could just make like a smaller, this is even the pairing that I had before, this is a different pairing, I could just make a small, one pair of socks is bigger, one pair of socks is smaller, so stay tuned. I'm thinking about trying the Lucky Me socks by Sophia Camerborn, which I've had in my queue for ages and ages and ages to do, I mean like years, so maybe that will be the one. I've only done 2 pairs of colourwork socks before, and it was a long time ago, so now I'm doing my colourwork star-crossed jumper, getting my colourwork mojo back a bit. Obviously this was a lot of colourwork, so that might be fun to do in the future. So that is my yarn roundup, and then this would be a little accent on both of them. Whew! Maths is hard, lots of maths, lots and lots of maths. Something else that I mentioned earlier but didn't follow up on was that I've cast on a new jumper, and this is a jumper that is for a friend of mine who I made a jumper for years and years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago, like a long time, and the perfectionist in me was not happy with it, and I took it back and I said, I'll make you a different one. 8 or 9 years later, it's not happened. So I'm rectifying that. I'm using my newfound knitting mojo this past kind of 6 months or so to actually get projects done and stick to things. I'm banking in on that. I'm making a jumper. So I've started, it's a raglan jumper, it's from Ready Set Raglan, it's the second pattern that I've made from that book. I made a Woodwardia before, and this one is, I can't remember which one, I'll stick it down below, but it's the garter rib one. I think there's only one that's garter rib, or maybe there's more, I don't know, but I've just cast on. I've done the short row, I did the short row shaping at the top because I'm doing the like shorter neck and it suggests that you do that, so I've just done this much and I'm pretty happy with it. It's striped. I'm gonna do short thin stripes for like a while and then shift to longer stripes, and then I think I'm gonna kind of do the stripes until like around here and then just do the main colour. down the way. I'm basically modelling it off of a Stephen West jumper that I saw on, I think it was on Woolen Forest Knits, on the Knit 2 Together that Maria and Michael, I'm going to say, are doing together. And I think it was a jumper that Michael is making that had that sort of kind of thinner stripes and then thicker stripes, and I thought that looks really cool. I, for this jumper, had been given instructions as to what colours to do, but not on how to combine them, and I was just looking for some inspiration, and that looked good to me. So I'm following that, and we're going to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I thought it would be a quick project because the recommended needle size was 4.5, and I was like, oh great, I'll like fly by, but I did a gauge swatch in 4.5 and it was like massive, so I went down a needle size, too big, I went down a needle size, and I've ended up getting like precise exact gauge on 3.75s, so I am learning that I'm a loose knitter, and that's fine, but it means that it's like, I guess it's progressing at the same pace that it would be if it was on 4.5s and I was knitting gauge with the pattern, but there's something about knitting on 3.75s that makes me think, alright, buckle up, I'm going to be in this for a while. So that's happening. It has, so it's like a Santa's sack of yarn. I think I have like 2 colours of each contrast colour, 2 balls of each contrast colour, and then 3 balls of the main colour, which I'm hoping will be enough, but we'll see. It's Cascade 220. I bought it when I was on my Cascade 220 kick. That's what we're knitting with at the moment. It's all Cascade all the time. So this is my new project that I'm enjoying very much. Other projects you've seen before, the Starcrossed has still not progressed any more than when you last saw it. Those yellow socks that I showed you last week, I have done like a little bit more, but they're in my work bag, so I'm not gonna bother to get them out. It's just more 2x2 ribbing, so not that much to write home about. I'm like enjoying it, but I think even a sock is maybe too complicated to make while I'm at work. I think I still haven't found the right more baking stuff that I need to do. I'm going to just finish this really quickly and then go and see to my cornbread. I still don't think I found the right project to take to work with me, which is fine. Try again. Maybe the shawl I'm going to be casting on, now that my 3.5mm needles are free, will be the right shawl. I just need something that's like comfort knitting, relatively simple. I think the thing with the sock is that I'm like, because I'm quite a fast sock knitter, I'm going to get into the heel pretty quickly, and then obviously a heel's like too complex to do while like reading documents or like editing your own work or whatever. So I maybe need something that's a bit like longer, long stretches of simplicity. So we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed that I find a good work project. But yeah, that's what is now on my needles at the moment. I've got that sock, that sweater that I just showed you, my Starcrossed jumper, and soon to be the 7th Street shawl. So that's all gonna happen. I'm gonna close this up now and go and check on my cornbread, and maybe I'm gonna take out my shawlography shawl and block it, so I'll maybe insert some footage at the end of that on the blocking mat, yoga mat, while it's blocking. Yeah, thank you all for hanging out with me this weekend. It's been nice to do another surprise vlog, and for 2 days as well, my first 2-dayer, so thanks for hanging out with me. If you've made it this far, it might be quite a long video, one of my longest videos yet, so well done if you've stuck around. Like the video if you liked it, leave a comment to let me know that you're real people, and subscribe if you want to see more. Yeah, and I'll see you all when I see you all. Have a lovely week. Goodbye.